is Kira Smith. I'm 15 years old. I'm a sophomore going to be junior at Warren Central High School. I high jump. I run the 400. I did the 300 hurdles this season for a little bit. I am bilingual. I play the piano and I love to read. I like to listen to music and hang out with my friends and family.
Oh,
I was already a fan, but you're making me more of a fan because of all of the
right.
all of the different talents that you have, right? It's so dope.
Thank you.
Oh, I love it. So can you tell us, we know how you possibly got interested in track and field, but tell us how you got into the sport.
I first started doing it my sixth grade year, and I did it with my sister. I saw my sisters do it, and I knew it was something that I wanted to do and try. So going into it, it was nice to have my older sister there with me for the first year, but I was able to venture out on my own and pick what events I wanted to do.
I love that. So how did you come about picking your specific events, right? Because you picked some great ones.
I first did long jump mainly because when my oldest sister did it, and then the 400, I knew I had the stamina and the speed to do it. And then for high jump, I did long jump first, but I looked at high jump and I knew it was something that I wanted to try.
You just wanted to try it. Wait, so
Funny.
you're jumping like 5'10" and you just wanted to
Mhm.
try it. And you've
And
had
it's
it 2 years?
fun.
That's
Yeah.
a that's nice to be able to have that type of talent where you'd be like, I
Yeah.
think I want to try this. And you're like
Mhm.
in the top five in the state as a
Hmm.
Yeah.
sophomore.
Hmm.
And you just started trying it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because this is like a family affair for you, you know,
Hmm.
you have all the siblings, mom, dad, you're the youngest.
Hmm.
Wh- Who's been like your biggest inspiration?
Definitely my parents, and they're very supportive. And my oldest sister too.
Mhm.
She had broken school records and she's very hardworking, dedicated to what she does. So definitely those were definitely the people I looked up to.
Well, you definitely have some great people to be inspired by. And so, with your experience starting in the sixth grade, I'm sure you have a lot of fond memories of competing. So, what's one that
Yes.
kind of sticks out? Like, oh my gosh, I will never forget this.
Mm,
This is just so amazing.
it would be winning regionals last year.
Mhm.
I will always remember that feeling. It was just knowing that I was going to go to state and we won as a team. Very good moment. And also competing at Nike Nationals. It was a very fun experience. I had never competed on a stage that big, so it was very fun and new, different, exciting.
That like Nike Nationals outdoors?
It was indoor.
Okay,
Yes.
so early in the season then.
Yes.
Okay, I like that because we never really see y'all. You like kind of
Hmm.
hidden. So I was just like, that's impressive though. So as a freshman, or was that this year? You went
That
to
was this year.
okay. Oh yeah, so big. Like I said, you just started high jumping and you're already at Nike National.
Hmm.
That's impressive. So on a stage that big, and this is kind of all new to you, how did you
Hmm.
like get ready for that mentally? Like how did you prep yourself?
Normally, I like to listen to music, and sometimes I like to go on a walk because sometimes it's nice to distract myself from the pressure and the nerves and just being able to stay excited. I never get super nervous for high jump. It's more the 400 that I get super nervous for, but it's more excitement and just being able to stay calm beforehand is very important.
Like that, taking a walk,
Hmm.
not getting nervous for high jump. I love look. That's even better. But who doesn't get nervous for the 400, right? The
Yes.
best of the best get nervous for that. What would you say is the most challenging aspect of being a track and field athlete?
Being able to deal with the mental part of it. Track is it's a very physically demanding sport, but especially when the 400, the mental side is also really hard because knowing before you run that it's going to hurt, and knowing that you still have to give it your all, but knowing how to deal with it and calm yourself down before you run is can be difficult.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, how do you deal with like you know high jump is one of your
Mhm.
events. A lot of times there's things that you can't control on high jump. Maybe it's a windy day and it's just not going your way. How do you handle those setbacks and those disappointments? Like if I came in here ready to hit 5'8", 5'6" is where I'm stuck at. It's cold, it's wet, it's rainy, all the stuff. How do you handle those
Mhm.
setbacks?
I handle the setbacks by focusing on what I can control, which is my emotions, my body language, my attitude. I can't control the weather or the conditions, but I can control how I warm up, what I tell myself beforehand, and I just make sure I focus on my technique and do what I can to stay focused and overcome whatever obstacles there are.
That's great. If you could record that and put that in every other athlete who's like, it's raining, it's this, it's that, right? And it's like, it is what it is.
Mhm.
And there are still things that I can't control. I love that. That is a very mature mindset, very mature. So, how has being an athlete shaped your character, right? We're already seeing it in our conversation with you, but how do
Mhm.
you feel like that shaped who you are?
Being an athlete is hard, but it has taught me mostly to be very disciplined. Being an athlete, you have a tough schedule on top of schoolwork, chores, social life. So it's hard to fit in fun time, but you have to know when to put the phone down, when to focus on your schoolwork, when you need to go to practice. And being a student athlete has taught me to always prioritize your work, and there will always be time for fun later.
This is true. I like that.
Mhm.
Now, this is kind of a random question. And because I'm asking because you're the third of three, like
Mhm.
I am. But you seem and I'm quiet. You seem to be
Yeah.
like you're the quiet, reserved one of the group. Um, how is this like? Has this being who you are and excelling the way you're excelling? Do you see yourself, or would you consider yourself to be one of the leaders on your team?
Yes, I would consider myself to be one of the leaders. And to be a leader, you have to have a good mindset. You have to be positive. And track is one of those sports where people have a lot to complain about. So making sure you always uplifting your teammates. And I know that if I stay positive and make other people happier, I can be an energy that people feed off of and a positive one.
How do you define what success looks like for you in track and field?
Success to me is getting better,
Mhm.
knowing that what I all the work that I'm putting in is paying off. So it might not always be winning, but PRing, figuring something out, and just knowing that all the work is paying off.
Now, speaking of working, the common answer we hear, but like the separator between good athletes and great athletes is hard work. What else would you add to that idea in terms of what's separating those good athletes from great athletes?
Hard work and a positive attitude. At the beginning of sophomore year, I wasn't as positive and I kind of had a negative approach to school, but I noticed that when I did that, when I was very negative, I wasn't as happy and my results weren't as good as I wanted it to be. And just changing my mindset and being able to be more positive about things, waking up in the morning, telling myself it's going to be a good day is ultimately what will get you through the tough days.
This is a mental
Hmm.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta get your mind right for those workouts.
Yeah.
For
Hmm.
sure, for sure. What advice would you give to the younger athletes of today who are either thinking about track or already in it?
Always work hard and be a teammate that people would want to be around because track is already a very hard sport, physically, mentally demanding. And when you are a teammate who is uplifting other people, positive, encouraging, it makes people want to come out to track and it makes just for a better environment, a better experience for yourself as well. And you'll see that you'll have a much better time when you have a more positive outlook on things.
One of the things I like to ask people is like when you've been involved with the sport for a little while now, even though you're only a
Mhm.
sophomore, but
Yes.
what's probably the most valuable piece of advice you've received thus far in your being coached in your track career?
Mhm. And the most valuable thing that I've learned or been told is that pressure is a privilege. When you find yourself in a high pressure situation, um, it's a privilege. You should be grateful that you are in that position because it means that what you do is important and it means something, and that you have to just give it your all whenever you are on the track or on the field or whatever you do. Just make sure you do it with 100%. Make sure you do it with passion because it matters, and people rely on you, so you should also rely on yourself.
I'm still in that one.
Pressure is a privilege. You got me wanting to snap. I
Uh,
love that. That is a great nugget of advice.
Mhm.
How do you, as an athlete, you're going to get feedback from your coaches. And so how do you handle that feedback when is trying to adjust or help you increase, how high you're jumping or how fast you're running?
Feedback is important. It helps you just become a better athlete. So what I like to do is take it and make sure I apply it and make sure I fully understand what's being told to me, because it's easy for you to get advice and then say, okay, yes, I got it, and then not truly fully understand it. So I make sure I know to the full extent of what I'm being told and make sure I apply it and learn from the feedback that I get.
Now, the elephant in the room, you
Mhm.
both of your parents are your coaches.
Yeah.
How do you handle that? And then when it's like the feedback, say,
Mhm.
does it leave the track? Does it go home with you? Is it on the car ride? Is it, or is the feedback left at the track? Or is that a difficult thing for you to navigate having parents as coaches?
My parents have made it I would say they do an amazing job of having the separation between coach and parent. So at the track, it's coach, and they're very encouraging to give me feedback. But then when we get home, we're able to just have a more parent to kid relationship and not let what maybe negative things happen on the track affect our relationship as daughter and parents.
I can handle that. What's this is a weird question, but maybe not with what we've been dealing with. What's kind of the weirdest weather you've been involved in when it comes to competing?
That's
I know
true.
it's been an array of things this season.
Yes.
Yes. Probably cold rain.
Mm,
I'm not the biggest, I don't like being rained on, and I
mhm,
don't like the cold. So when there's a combination of both, it kind of throws me off a little bit.
mhm. No, yes. We have had some very special weather here lately. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So being a part of, a successful team, but also having your individual successes, how are you able to balance your individual goals with the team's goals?
My individual goals, I make sure that I am working hard to have good marks in my events like high jump, maybe it'll be the open 4, the 300 hurdles, but in everything, I know I have to take that, and at times I'm not only doing it for myself and doing it for the team. Just like in the 4x4, at this the last event of the meet, people are tired, it might be cold, and you don't feel super encouraged to run. But I have to remind myself that I'm not only running for myself, but I'm running for the 3 other people on my relay, the teammates who are supporting, and I just make sure that whatever I do, I'm doing it to the best of my abilities, because I know that if if I have success for myself, I can have success for the team.
Like here, I'm gonna ask you one last question here. If we had to ask your teammates to describe you in one word, what would that word be?
I think my teammates will describe me as optimistic.
Ooh,
I always tell myself that I can. Some
mhm,
people on the team are more realist, but I like to tell myself that whatever it is, I can do it, because I have very high expectations for myself, and I am able to put those expectations on myself because I know that if things don't always go my way, I'm not going to demean myself. I'll always be my number one supporter. But I like to just always say that I can. I don't like the word can't.
mhm. I love it.
I'm with.
I love it. Yes.
So, Kira, we want to follow along. Everybody, check you
Mhm.
out throughout the upcoming year, since we have a couple more years with you. How should they follow you? Is it Instagram? Is it TikTok? Or is it X now?
Probably Instagram.
Okay.
Yes.
What's your Instagram handle?
I believe it's Kira underscore official 86, probably.
Okay. We'll
Yeah.
find it. We'll make sure we get that
Yes.
linked up because we'll tag you in this when we get going.
Okay. Thank
Sound
you.
good? Well, thank you for joining us.
Yes, it's been a
Thank you for
pleasure.
having me.